American family and business could soon see changes under the White House's major tax cut proposal. Good afternoon, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us today. The White House released its tax plan, promising it will create jobs and boost the economy. Critics say it will only launch the U.S. into more debt. NBC's Blaine Alexander reports.
Proudly dubbing it the biggest overhaul in history, today the White House unveiled a sweeping tax reform proposal.
What this is about is creating jobs and creating economic growth.
For individuals, the proposed plan would eliminate most tax deductions.
We are going to eliminate on the personal side all tax deductions other than mortgage interest and charitable deductions.
7 tax brackets would be reduced to 3. For married couples, no tax on the first $24,000 of income, tax benefits to help with child care, and eliminating the death tax.
We're going to cut taxes for the American people, especially low and middle income families.
But businesses would see big breaks too, with rates dropping from a current 35 to 39% down to 15%, affecting everyone from major corporations to small mom and pop shops, but already questions about how to pay for it.
We will be attacked from the left and we will be attacked from the right.
The White House says money would come from closing loopholes and economic growth, not increasing the deficit. Critics say that's not realistic.
This idea that somehow growth can pay for these kinds of huge tax cuts is operating in fairyland. That just doesn't work.
The administration has said tax reform will only work if Obamacare is repealed and replaced, a major factor in cutting spending. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
Good news for the president. Conservative Republicans say because of the tax changes, they can now get behind the president's health care plan. We could see a vote as early as Friday.
Here's what's happening right now. The investigation into what happened to Fulton man Carl DeBrody is far from over. The Boone County Medical Examiner is still working to identify a body found Tuesday in a Fulton storage bin filled with concrete. Police say it's likely the body of DeBrody. The 31-year-old was reported missing more than a week ago when he walked away from the Second Chance group home for people with disabilities. Police used a drone, tracking dogs, and foot searches to try and find him. Authorities also followed more than 100 leads, which eventually led them to that storage unit. Autopsy results have not yet been released. The Boone County Coroner's Office says it could not comment because the investigation is ongoing.
Today, a dozen different organizations rallied at the state capitol for a group they call Moral Missouri. They say the General Assembly is undermining the morality of the state with bills that discriminate. KOMU8's Chris Joseph talked to the coalition and lawmakers about the issues.
Planned Parenthood, the NAACP, and 10 other organizations rallied together today at the state capitol to protest the General Assembly's agenda. They say the General Assembly has proposed bills which discriminate against minorities and women. Part of the concern is a bill in the Senate which would regulate where fetal tissue goes after a miscarriage or abortion. A Planned Parenthood rallier said it was a question of faith and choice.
As a woman of faith, I think people get to choose how to honor what happens to them.
Every other surgical procedure that we have, whether it's just a removal of a lesion or anything else from an individual patient, is sent in its entirety to the pathologist for examination. So this is no different.
The bill in question has passed the House and was read in the Senate on Tuesday. In the newsroom, Chris Joseph, KOMU8 News.
An August execution date is set for a man convicted of the killing of a former St. Louis newspaper reporter in 1998. Marcellus Williams was found guilty of first-degree murder. He broke into Leisha Gale's home and stabbed her. Williams was scheduled to be put to death in 2015, but the Missouri Supreme Court stayed the execution. He will be the state's second execution of 2017.
3 people are dead after a triple shooting in Pine Lawn. The shooting happened just after 10 this morning. The suspects are still at large. North County police are looking for a black Nissan Altima or an old white Chevy Impala with a spotlight on the driver's side. No word on what led to the shooting.
A Columbia man has been charged with possession of child pornography. Police say 34-year-old James Patterson befriended an underage girl last year. Patterson picked her up from school and drove her to a Columbia hotel. There he took about 800 photographs, some partially nude. The girl was 16 years old at the time. Police say she believed she was taking her senior photos.
The statewide ride-sharing regulations law Governor Greitens signed will go into effect in late August. However, Uber and Lyft have already made their way into Missouri cities. KOMU8's Emma Reckenberg joins us in the studio with details on the potential jobs these services will bring to Missourians.
That's right, Brittany. Take a look at Lyft's website. You'll find 7 Missouri cities listed as available driving and riding locations. These cities are new additions, including Columbia, which, according to one Chamber of Commerce director, could lead to more local jobs.
With the branded pink mustache attached on the dashboard, Lyft is the newest ride-sharing company to come to Columbia. Jerry Dowell with the Columbia Chamber of Commerce views this arrival as future jobs for Columbia residents.
I think it's going to give people an opportunity to earn some extra money, folks that get some flexibility to do that.
Dowell says these services could also increase local spending.
Creating a job locally, and people that are coming in, they're utilizing the service, so they're spending money locally.
The statewide ride-sharing law goes into effect August 28th, which requires companies to apply for business licenses with the Missouri Department of Revenue. Before Governor Greitens signed the law, I spoke with Representative Kirk Matthews about what Uber's presence could mean with statewide operation.
Uber alone anticipates that there will be 10,000 new small businesses created.
He says these drivers work as independent contractors and set their own schedule. With both Lyft and Uber now driving in Columbia, Dowell sees the competition as positive.
There are different pros and cons for each service, and I think riders are going to choose the one that they like the best. And I think having competition will make the service better.
Dowell says it's too early to tell how ride-sharing companies have impacted employment data in Columbia.
I think we'll know a little bit more on the backside of the year, so the fourth quarter we'll probably have an understanding of the kinds of jobs and opportunities that Lyft and Uber are going to provide in Columbia.
As of 5 p.m., the Uber app had 8 cars cruising around Columbia. The Lyft app didn't have any. However, there were a few drivers earlier this afternoon. Both apps operate in a similar way and can be downloaded directly to your phone. In the studio, Emma Reckenberg, KOMU8 News.
MoDOT is beginning a motorcycle safety campaign for the month of May after the number of fatal crashes involving motorcycles reached a record high of 122 last year. Safety Administrator Scott Jones says low gas prices led to more traffic on the roads, but drivers can do a better job of sharing the road with motorcyclists.
I think a lot of people have just kind of accepted crashes and fatalities as, we can't do anything about it, when the truth is we can do something about it. Slow down, buckle up, wear your helmet, don't be distracted.
Jones encourages all riders to take the state motorcycle training classes offered at 29 Missouri locations.
We are certainly seeing April showers today. Let's send it over to Tori to find out how much more rain we can expect.
Tori, thank you very much. An act of kindness here in mid-Missouri is recognized all the way to our nation's capital.
Plus, Jefferson City's ahead in implementing one federal policy that's coming up after the break.
And you're taking a live look over the Missouri River. It is foggy in Roachport on this, what day of the week is it there, Tori, Kenton? Yes, it is. It's hump day. It's 5:08. This is KOMU8 News, first at 5. Coverage you can count on. The Saturday's a washout. I think that's what she's trying to say.
On and off. There are some dry spots in there for sure, but that's our rainiest one.
All right. Tori, thanks. Heroes come in all shapes and sizes.
A pair of mid-Missourians fit the category for saving an elderly couple from a burning car. We'll introduce you to them next.
The awards keep coming for 2 mid-Missouri men, Adam Bronk and Jacob Ellis.
So several months ago, these two saved the lives of a couple whose car was on fire in Callaway County. Take a look. You can see in this picture, it was taken at the scene. There's fire and smoke just engulfing the car. But Bronk and Ellis were able to get the 2 people inside free, and that earned them a Congressional Medal of Honor. They stopped by KOMU8 earlier today to talk about how they feel like they were just doing what they had to do in order to get people in need help.
It's about serving people and serving the community and being able to give your helping hand for the greater good of others. If I wasn't there to help, maybe they would have lost their lives. So whatever I could have did to help those people get out of danger, that's what I had to do.
I would want somebody to help me as well. And that's the way I've looked at this the entire time. I don't look at myself as a hero. I did what needed to be done.
Well, Brunk may not consider himself a hero, but the Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation saw it differently. The pair are two of just 6 people nationwide to receive awards for, quote, acts of courage and selfless service, which epitomize the American spirit.
One portion of the new federal education law is helping homeless students. Under the Every Student Succeeds Act, schools must provide transportation to homeless students for the entire school year, even if they find permanent housing during that time. Under the previous law, schools did not have to continue providing transportation to those students. One Jefferson City Public Schools director says the law's goal is to keep students in school.
It just provides one more financial support and stability to make sure kids have an educational experience that's not impacted by that.
Missouri has not yet finalized the rest of its version of the new education law. It must be submitted by September 2017.
Coming up in Your Health, greenery might be linked to a longer, better life.
Researchers were curious and wanted to know, does knowing someone, even a family member who's died of skin cancer, change one's tanning and sun exposure habits? One New Jersey doctor surveyed more than 300 students at a university. 72 of them knew someone with skin cancer, but yet they were more likely to still sunbathe and get sunburned. Although the study did find a decline in the number of college students visiting tanning salons.
They might perceive that it's something that happens a lot later in life. However, we do see that rates of melanoma in this age group are increasing, and that is the most deadly form of skin cancer.
Even sunburns in childhood increase the risk for skin cancer and melanoma later in life. A new study found nature could be linked to longer lives for women. More than 108,000 women were studied by Harvard School of Public Health, and the women living in the greenest areas had a 12% lower death rate. They were also 41% less likely to die from kidney disease and had a 13% lower rate of cancer.
A strong warning about meds with potentially
The FDA is warning parents about drugs that could be harmful to children. It says kids under 18 should not take Tramadol and kids under 12 should not take codeine. Both are drugs used to treat pain. Those drugs can cause side effects like respiratory depression and cardiac problems. Experts also say cough medicines can be dangerous and instead recommend asking pediatricians for natural remedies.
Coming up, it resembles a unicorn, but we know that's not possible because there is no such thing as a unicorn. It's coming up. 12 organizations rallied today against the Missouri General Assembly's agenda. KOMU 8's Chris Joseph joins us now with this recap.
The coalition rallied for everything from minimum wage to fetal tissue. At 6, I'll tell you about a different bill that could prevent minorities from taking harassment cases to court.
We are working on another special edition of Town Square. We want you to help drive the discussion.
We want to know what you think about the proposed changes to the workplace discrimination law. So take our survey at the top of our website, KOMU.com. It's not exactly the mythological creature, but farmers in southern Iceland have named a ram Unicorn. His 2 horns are fused together at the top of his head, forming one long horn. I see it.
All right, we're going to continue to hang on to some light rain showers pretty much in and out throughout the rest of this evening. Those don't really look to move apart until about the midnight hour tonight. We are left with quite a bit of sunshine for your Thursday afternoon. That's all ahead of more showers and thunderstorms for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this upcoming weekend.
That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.